Okay, I think I'm going to make this a little bit shorter. I'm going to get myself all worked up, and then I'm going to be sorry for that. I can see that coming right now. So there's an old little saying, and it's called lead, follow, or get out of the way. And it's kind of short and sweet, you know, kind of a merciless little comment. Lead, follow, or get out of the way. It's like, you know, those medical workers that were taking those people out of the hospital, which was another fiasco, total fiasco, had 8 backup generators to run that hospital. And they had to evacuate 300 people because the state required that they keep the fuel on the ground floor, and the ground floor was flooded. That's what I understood. If somebody has better information, you can pass it along. But those people took care of business. They knew what they were doing. They'd run disaster drills. They knew how to do it. Those poor little premature babies taken out into the, you know, into the weather, and they were having to. The babies couldn't breathe on their own, so they were having to use the little kind of a bag, you know, to force air into the baby's lungs. It was just really something. They didn't lose any patients, from what I understood, but so they led, and the first responders will lead if you get out of the way and let them. So lead, follow, or get out of the way is like, you know, you're either going to be part of the problem or you're going to be part of the solution. And it's a sad, sad situation. It's a sad. I'm not going to be an armchair referee here, armchair commentator, and try to call the shots of what took place in this disaster. But some things are just like, you know, it's like, come on, people, common sense, you know. I just don't understand. I do feel for people. I understand that that's their home. I don't know why anybody would want to choose to live, including my relative, in an area that can be so easily cut off with bridges, tunnels, and subways, and is so vulnerable to disaster. The way, just the logistics, the way the whole thing is situated, all those people poured into one little location, and I thought they did under the circumstances. I think a lot of things went really, really well with their response to that. But we can be part of the problem or we can be part of the solution. And a lot of leaders came out of this situation. A lot of wonderful neighborhood leaders came out of this situation where they were, you know, able to take matters into their own hands and help other people get through what needed to be gotten through. But there was a lot of selfishness that I saw too, which I think thought was very sad for some people to be sitting, you know, in a very well situated circumstance and high and dry and not doing, you know, it was just, it was freaky how the whole thing took place. That, you know, part of the city has power and part of the city does not, and it seems to be the more affluent area that did end up with power, which was, you know, not anybody's doing, obviously. But uh just, it's a sad thing when you become part of the problem instead of part of the solution. And I hope to not see that day. You know, I hope I'm not part of the problem. I hope I'm part of the solution. I hope that I can be more of an asset than a liability in a disaster situation. But we really need to ask ourselves, you know, when you drive past dozens of gas stations for 12 days, if the gas was available, and you don't fill up your gas tank, and then you're sitting in line with everybody else, and you know they had to ration in some cases the gasoline. You couldn't just buy all that you wanted. And poor people standing out there holding those gas cans, and I'm thinking, you know, they probably need it for their generators. But again, I'm kind of like not a generator kind of a girl. I'd rather have the candles, and I'd rather have the cooking fuel, and so on and so forth. There are some circumstances where you can't light a flame if you wanted to anyway, or it probably wouldn't be safe to run the generator anyways if they have natural gas leaks, which they did have in some areas. So at any rate, lead, follow, or get out of the way so you can plan to be able to take care of your own needs and someone else's. There are times that all your preparedness goes right out the window because there's not a thing you can do. You know, if a tornado comes and sucks everything up into the air, it's gone, it's gone. You know, you're just stuck with what remains. So there's sometimes that we can't help, but when it's avoidable and you become part of the problem instead of becoming part of the solution, I think it's a sad situation, and we owe it to our kids. You know, if there's, you can replace the stuff in the house, you cannot replace human life, and it's just sad to me to see people say, "Oh, I'm going to ride it out." Ride it out. If you're going to ride it out, you're going to ride it all the way out. You know, you may be end up riding it out, being taken out. It's just not. It's not a good deal. It's not a good gamble. Sorry for my teeth. It's a long story. It's a disaster that was not my fault. Totally not my fault. Okay, 5 minutes. I'm going to quit here. Decide if there's another one. Thank you. Bye.